Swinging a high drive into center field. Hits at the wall. It is gone! Casas does it again. It's gone! It's into the bullpen! This game is tied! This game is tied!
He swings and rips one to center field. It's high, it's deep, it's back, it's gone! Sale winds, he fires. Swing and a miss, strike three, it's over! The Red Sox have won the World Championship!
Heyo! Welcome back to Play Tessie. It's episode 81. If you're listening on drop day, it's June 14th. Episode 81. There's only two guys in Red Sox history to wear number 81, and we're going to go with Kyle Hart for this one. But I'm also here with Sammy and Pat, by the way. Pat coming in straight from the Dominican Republic. I'm going to give you guys the choice here. Do we make this the Kyle Hart episode? Kyle Hart, 4 games and 3 starts with a 15.55 ERA in 2020? Or do we just give it to Randy Moss? Because he had a nice moment in the Brady celebration. What do you think?
Randy.
Sammy?
I don't know. Kyle Hart almost had a triple-digit ERA. That's pretty good.
I don't know, dude. He was 85 runs away.
I think we make it a Dice K episode and just flip 81 to 18.
All right, so this is the Daisuke Matsuzaka episode. This is the official podcast of sending the road home crowd home unhappy, if that makes sense.
The road
home crowd home. We're sending the road home crowd home unhappy.
This should be the title of the episode. Road home, crowd home.
Yep, and they're unhappy because the Phillies lost 2 out of 3 in the series. Also known as the official Red Sox podcast of WEI. Before we get going, hit that subscribe button. Whether you're listening on Apple, Spotify, Odyssey app, hit the subscribe button. Rate us 5 stars. Helps us out a ton. Go to YouTube. We're on the WEI channel. Got a Play Tessie podcast in there. Hit the thumbs up on those videos. Also helps us out a ton. On the socials, at Play Tessie on both Twitter and Instagram. Got tons of good content coming out on those feeds all the time. Again, here with Sammy and Pat. Pat, again, coming in straight from the Dominican Republic. He's got his mic. He is ready to rock. The Red Sox are also ready to rock after taking 2 out of 3 from the Phillies. 35-34 team here. It is impossible to be 500 when you've played an odd number of games. I know the Red Sox, if anyone was going to figure out how to do that, it would be them. But they are 5-5 in their last 10. They're 35-34. They've bounced back and forth below and above 500. I don't know when the last time they were more or less than a game above or below 500 was, but it was definitely before the White Sox series. Obviously, taking 2 of 3 from Philly, you have to be thrilled about. I know going into this series, Pat, Sammy, and Joe all predicted the Sox to get swept, and I was on the fence. If just one of you guys had taken 1 out of 3, I was going to go 2 out of 3, and I didn't do it, and it's killing me because, that would have felt so good, but whatever. I'll take the Red Sox taking 2 out of 3. I'd been saying that the Red Sox in this 6-game stretch with the Phillies and the Yankees coming to town after splitting with the White Sox, you had to find a way to split with the Phillies and the Yankees. And taking 2 out of 3 from the Phillies is a good place to start. So vibe check wise, it's kind of the same just because you keep bouncing back and forth between happily around 500 and around 500. And right after the White Sox series, it's around 500. And after the Phillies series, it's, in my opinion, happily above 500. But I'll kick it to Sammy in case he has a different opinion. Sammy, vibe check. I know the offense in the first game was really bad, and the second 2 was a lot better. And we've seen a lot of that. I don't know. Your Sox 3 games, take 2 out of 3 from the Phillies. What do you think?
Okay, bear with me here. I want to harken back to our first conversation we had on the show with Chris Murphy, friend of the program, best pal of the program. And he said one of the things he likes about Boston is how the Red Sox fans are Bruins fans, are Celtics fans, are Patriots fans. We all root for the hometown team, which, believe it or not, if you've been to other cities, it's not always that way in different markets. So that's the long way of saying I think the Celtics, as a fan of the Red Sox and the Celtics, are helping with the vibes, if that makes sense. Because everyone's in such a good mood. The Celtics are kicking the crap out of the Dallas Mavericks. They might have won the championship if you're getting to this a day late or a few hours late. They're up 3-0 as we're recording. Everyone's in a good mood about that. Meanwhile, the Red Sox, the season hasn't been great. They're a 500 team most of the time, but they just took 2 out of 3 from the Phillies. You couple those things together, and the vibes are actually surprisingly good. So to shorten that, the Celtics are helping with the vibes, which helps with the Red Sox vibes. And then, of course, the wins. That's the main thing that helps as well. So the vibes are pretty good right now.
I don't hate that theory because the Red Sox for the last few years have just not been a very good team at home. And I very much subscribe to the theory that a big part of that is because the vibes in the fan base, aka the vibes of all the people surrounding the field of play, have been dog shit for years now. Since 2021, it's been bad. And now all of a sudden, the vibes are great. Celtics up 3-0. I couldn't be happier about it. It is just such a fucking joyful time to be in Boston. It's the longest championship drought of, I mean, at least of my lifetime. So certainly
since 1959. This
Sammy,
is the longest drought since 59.
It's definitely not the longest drought of your lifetime.
No.
Of your lifetime. You've been around for some tough times. You watched the Red Sox in like the 90s, like
oh dude, I remember
anything.
I remember in the 40s just waiting for Ted Williams to come back from his mandatory Army service. I was so impatient. I was like, when's he going to get back? He's missing 3 years of his prime. I'm only in my 40s. How much time do I have left? But no, dude, honestly, the vibes are so good. Today I went up to Gloucester, north of Boston, and everyone there is wearing Celtics stuff. It's like all of New England. Everyone's fired up for the Celtics. And then, when everyone's positive, it takes less to get positive about the Red Sox. So 2 out of 3 against the Phillies. Yeah, I know the Phillies are banged up, but the Red Sox are even more banged up. So I'm really happy with this series. Pleasantly surprised. I predicted a sweep, Red Sox getting swept. So happily eating crow here and hope it continues through the weekend, but we'll get to that.
So Sammy was in Gloucester, and I love Gloucester. Gloucester is right next door to Essex, where Woodman's resides, and Woodman's is my favorite restaurant. So Gloucester's great, but I got to tell you, I think Pat being in the DR might be a slight step above it. I don't know. Manny lives there. David Ortiz was born there. So Pat, your vibes must be like through the roof right now. Like this, I don't know if you're watching on YouTube, like this guy is, you can see him. This guy is in a great spot right now.
Yeah, no. So when we got here Monday, 3 days ago, we went to the swim up bar, and the guy was like, "Oh, like donde está?" Blah blah blah. I said Boston. He listed every fucking Boston athlete who is from the DR. He's like, "Oh, Rafael Devers, Brian Bayo, like Pedro, Manny, Poppy, everybody." The Boston crowd in the DR is absolutely fucking insane. And it even goes further with the Celtics. We went to a sports bar last night to watch the Celtics game. Boys, cover your ears. We went to a sports bar to watch the finals game. Guy in an Al Horford jersey shows up. 5 Latino women around him. He is with no one. 5. Screaming at every Mavs fan the entire game.
Yeah.
The entire game. There is, outside of legit Boston, nothing stacks up to DR. I'm boots on the ground. Boots on the ground.
This guy's boots on the ground. Dude, I wish I could go to DR. DR is atop my list. My sister's been. She said it was awesome, but I've never gone. So where in DR are you? I think you mentioned, but
Punta
I can't.
Cana. So we're like right on like the east coast of DR.
Punta Cana. Where's Big Poppy's from the capital, right? Santo Domingo, I believe. I believe that's where he's from. We
gotta find out where Al Horford was born. Actually, maybe he might have been born in the U.S. because his dad played basketball.
I was gonna say, I think his dad's from the DR. He's from the States.
Tito?
Yeah, I love Tito. Don't you love Tito?
I think Tito's from the DR. I think Al's from the States because he went to Florida.
Al's from, I was gonna say he's from like Florida.
No, Al Horford was born in Puerto Plata, Dominican Republic. But I'm
really? Oh, I thought he was like
he was
American of Dominican descent. That's cool.
I mean, to be honest with you, he probably was like, because like A-Rod, I'm pretty sure was born in the DR, but was like, he grew up in Miami. Like, I'm sure Al grew up in the States.
Well, Dominican, very
But-
cool. You know what else is cool? Being Latvian, like Chris Stapps, the king of Boston. But anyway, Pat, glad you're having a good time. Glad you're crushing Coronas. Some good piss water beer. It's trash, but crush those. You look tan too for an Irish guy. Yeah.
I tan well for an Irish guy. That's the
Dude, look at
10%
me.
Italian
I'm so red. Oh, I'm all, when you that pre-sunburn where you get like itchy first before it starts to burn? That's like my feet and my shoulders right now. That's what I got. I can't wait to take a freezing cold shower after this. Ugh,
Sammy, do you
pain.
tan?
No.
No. I was gonna say
Lobster.
Latvian descent. I don't know. For some reason, I just can't picture.
I'm
I also just like
Latvian.
knowing you, I just can't picture you being that tan.
I'm Latvian and Russian. There's no way I'll ever tan.
You could survive like in an igloo.
Yeah. Oh, cold, dude. I like negative 30 degrees. I'm comfy, but hot, can't do it.
God, Pat, I'm jealous. I'm honeymooning in the DR in September and in Punta Cana, so I'm gonna be real close to wherever you are. So I'm excited, and I'm excited for you, Pat. What do you got? Like 3 or 4 days left there? You still got plenty of time. Soak it up.
Saturday. We have 2 days left.
You better get back quick, dude. We got a parade incoming. Knock on wood.
Yeah. Well, that was the whole thing. Planned perfectly. The day after we get back would be the parade, the Celtics sweep.
Yeah. See, for those who don't know, when Pat was planning this trip, it was like, all right, we're months out, but the finals dates are out. The Celtics are going to sweep it. So you just got to make sure that you're back within 2 days of that Friday game. You'll make the parade. And so he planned the trip perfectly. It's beautiful. He's going to show up to the parade with a beautiful tan. I'm so excited for you, Pat. Quickly before we move on to a little bit more Red Sox stuff, I do want to say, because I was at the TD Garden watch party for the Celtics last night, and I'm sitting in my seats. I'm already there, and I forget how it came up or what. I think I just mentioned that I was in our group chat that I was at the watch party. And big brave Joe Braverman is like, I'm on my way over there right now. I was like, oh, where are you sitting? He's like, section 303. I'm like, oh my God, I'm in section 302. And so Joe gets there. We say, hey, the game's like literally, we said, hey, like 3 minutes before tip. And literally every single good thing that happened throughout this game, I'm like turning around, like looking at Bravery.
We
like,
locked eyes.
Go, yeah,
We legit
yeah.
locked eyes, and we're like basically playing like Simon Says.
It was a great finals watching experience, and not just because of that, but because TD Garden. It was like the game was there. The seats were all filled. Everyone was there. People were going nuts. What I loved about it was because it was like $18 tickets, so people could afford it. And it's not like it's like a social event with like, hey, look at me. I'm at the finals. I'm going to post it on Instagram. The diehard fans showed up. Like, that's who it was there. And it was a great atmosphere. I thought it was very cool that New England filled both TD Garden and Gillette Stadium without a game being played at either venue. It was incredible.
Love it. Love it.
But yeah, Fenway Park, to get back to the Red Sox, Fenway Park, I feel like I went to the first game of the series and it was pretty filled. It was pretty filled. However, it was filled seemingly with mostly Phillies fans. You could hear it on the TV, and at least for me in the second and third game.
I will push
Sammy?
back on that. I went to the second game. There were a ton of Phillies fans, but it was like half. It definitely wasn't more, half at the most. It definitely wasn't more Phillies fans. I feel like just when they're winning, they're loud. But the Red Sox beat the Phillies in game 2, the game I went to, and Fenway felt like mostly Red Sox fans, or for the vast majority Red Sox fans at least.
I can tell you here, game 3, that it felt like there were a ton of Phillies fans here. So I would probably estimate like 60-70% for tonight's the third game.
60? I don't know, man.
Maybe
like
because the crowd when the Sox were getting into it in game 3 and they were scoring were, not insanely loud, but they were pretty loud.
I also think Phillies fans right now are a lot crazier than Red Sox fans because, one,
They should
like
be.
the best record in Major League Baseball. 2, they're all together on the road in another notoriously rowdy ballpark. So I don't know. I
They were
want,
probably
and,
just
you know,
louder.
I've been honest all year, being like, oh, it's like mostly X fans here, mostly this. Fenway's empty, Fenway's full. Like I'm not gonna lie to defend the Red Sox. It really didn't feel like there were that many Phillies fans, at least at game 2. Like compared to my expectation, I thought it was gonna be like 75%. I would say like at the most it was half, but I don't even know if I would say that. There were a lot.
For game 1, I was sitting down the left field line, and I mean, so obviously like Phillies fans are going to try to pack the area closest to their dugout. You see that a lot with road fans. They congregate around that area, like those 4 to 5 sections right by the dugout up front. And so when good things happen, like everyone around me was standing and cheering. It was a lot of that. And not for nothing, in that game, there just wasn't very much Red Sox wise to cheer about. So to me, it felt like 50-ish. I mean, I agree with you, Sam. I guess I'm not really saying anything more than you. I think it felt like there were around half Phillies fans. Not for nothing, it's a Fenway Park home game. It shouldn't be like that. But yeah, I mean, half the fans are Phillies fans, and they're going to be way louder. At least because in my game's case, things were going really well for them. Kyle Schwarber hit a home run literally on the first pitch.
Oh man, yeah.
And then proceeded in the series to drive in 7 runs. I mean, okay, question for you guys. Does it count as a revenge game, Schwarber? No. Obviously, there's nothing to seek revenge for, but to me, any return game is a revenge game. That's how I feel.
I think you just said it. You just answered the question yourself. There's no revenge. I mean, the Phillies gave him an awesome offer, and he took it. What? I mean, if he's like
he's seeking revenge.
No, there has to be some bad blood, or like, why did you not bring me back? Like Schwarber was here for half a season. He can't play defense. Like we get why. If he's a really big baseball fan and he's like, you pretty much went with Yoshida over me, Red Sox. Therefore, I'm pissed. That's different. But no, I didn't think they were going to bring him back. Honestly, I don't think he thought he was coming back.
I wish. I miss him, dude. Even though his
so
stats
cool.
aren't that great. But Pat, what do you think? Revenge game? Does it count as a revenge game?
No. I mean, if JJ Putz came back and struck out the side as a setup guy, would you say that was a big revenge game for JJ Putz? No.
JJ Putz.
Absolutely not.
Was he even a Red Sox?
No, but
Brad Ziegler. I'm thinking of Brad Ziegler.
Different ginger diamondback
random
reliever.
setup closer type.
JJ Putz. Oh my god, what a brutal name. Putz. But no, not a revenge game. No, he probably wanted to play well because he played here in Boston. And he was only here for a short time, and he was very good. Like, hey, why'd you let me go? But it's not a revenge game. There's no bad blood. It's a love fest. Everyone cheered him on.
But I just I agree. Your reasoning makes perfect sense. It's sound. My reasoning makes no sense at all. However, it's a revenge game. It's just the terminology. This is why
I don't watch politics. That's like what every political debate is like. Like your point, you make a good point. Everything checks out. But I'm right. But I'm gonna go with my point and just disagree. Yeah, that's why that's why I'm not a politics guy. That was you just demonstrated it.
So yeah, Kyle Schwarber's revenge series, 7 RBIs, 2 bombs. He was great in every game. They lost 2 out of the 3 games, but he was not the reason for that. His 3-run double in the 3rd game might have been the most predictable 3-run double ever. That said, didn't matter.
He's got a big time like Homo erectus head, just like a big caveman head. Huge skull. Like probably size 9 hat, Kyle Schwarber.
The hell does Homo erectus mean?
It's like a pre-evolved human. It's like 2 stages below Homo sapien, which is what we are. Homo erectus. It's like when they first started standing up straight, erect.
So it's like it's like the stage in between gorillas and humans.
Not gorillas, but like he's like right when they stood up straight. That's erectus.
Yeah, right when the Homo stood up straight.
Erectus. Yeah. Hey, you're actually right, Pat. I mean,
no, I mean,
you're literally right. Yeah. Anyway, there's cave people, but yeah, he's got a big head.
Yeah, he does. He does. And he looked great in a Red Sox uniform. He was someone who I really fell in love with when he was here. And I had no hope that they were going to bring him back. It just that entire offseason, it never felt like it. It was really, I don't know. For me, I just I had a huge emotional connection to Schwartz. Oh my God. Yeah, you're right, Sammy. That
Doesn't look okay.
that
Never
definitely
mind.
looked
Maybe
like
maybe I'm
Schwarber.
wrong. Yeah, Gordo, aren't you?
That is
I just
Kyle.
got violated having my knee up.
Why did you think? Why did you not think they were going to bring Schwarber back, Gordo? I'm curious.
Just the language and the way that they talked. It just, you could tell with the way, anytime they asked Heim about him, he was just like, yeah, I mean, we're like continuing conversations. We're in touch. It just, to me, it felt, I don't know. And maybe
Who would you
part
rather?
of it was
You rather
me
him
just,
or Yoshida? Who would you rather? Right, like let's say for the next 3 years, like you have to have one. It's 2024. You have to keep one for the end of this year, and then 2 more after. Who would you rather keep?
pretty comfortably Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah, I'm on the same page.
And even if their OPSs or whatever around, because I know Schwarber, he like feels like a better guy, even though his OPS is not going to end up that much higher than Yoshida's, just because the batting average isn't going to be good. He's going to strike out, all that. But the emotional boost you get from having a guy like Kyle Schwarber in that lineup, in that clubhouse, and that's not to say that Yoshida isn't like a good clubhouse guy or anything, but Kyle Schwarber he's just a one of a kind dude. He's a winner. He's won everywhere he's been. I think there's value in that. And this team needs offense. I mean, we could go to these last couple of games and talk about those. You could also look to the first game in which they didn't have a hit in between no outs in the second and the 9th inning. Like, they did not have a hit in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th innings.
That's gross. That game went so fast.
But the other thing too is like, so let's say they had Kyle, right? The way the roster is constructed, it'll be a lot more digestible to have Kyle Schwarber on the roster right now than Masataka Yoshida.
Which is crazy because Schwarber is widely known as a terrible, terrible defender who can not play a lot of positions, and he still has more versatility than Yoshida.
But then on top of that, even if, like, let's say they sign Yoshida, you have Schwarber at first, who obviously is giving you more offensive output than Cooper and Dom Smith. In the outfield, until Willie got hurt, Willier, Duran, and O'Neill. The lineup is much deeper with Schwarber at his secondary position at first base, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, you could have just DH'd him too. Like, we just, when Casas comes back.
That's what kills.
Whatever.
That's what killed me.
Yes.
Because
We
like
don't have to
whole,
play the hypothetical game. It's just pain.
it was definitely frustrating to hear them talk over and over again about how they couldn't roster both Schwarber and JD Martinez because both of them needed to DH and they didn't feel comfortable playing either of them in left field, and definitely not Schwarber at first, and yada, yada, yada. And then the very next offseason, they go out and sign Masataka Yoshida, who now just 1 year later after his contract, they're so uncomfortable with him in the field. Even after Tyler O'Neill has had the same knee injury pop up 3 times, they still won't give O'Neill DH time with Yoshida in the field. O'Neill will get his DH time, but though in those games, Yoshida, it appears based off of what Alex Cora says, will sit. So it was frustrating just because the same front office was behind both those signings, and like Kyle Schwarber would have been such a good piece to have in 2022 to bring back from 2021 to keep that sort of flow going, that momentum you had in 2021. It feels like when you lose a guy like Schwarber, you hurt something like that. I don't know. I don't know if that's a real thing. I don't know if that's just
that whole
talk.
I liked, I didn't like, but I was fine with the stuff that Chaim Bloom was working on. I know he didn't really get to complete his vision, but his regime felt unbelievably tone deaf to the human side of baseball. Stuff like you just mentioned, Gordo, like just crushing the vibe. Like, you have a guy like Schwarber who the fans love. He's playing super well for you. He's not the most perfect fit in the world, and you let him go. And then you sign a guy who's just as much of a bad fit, and now you can argue a worse fit. The king of gentle ground balls to second base, Yoshida. All right, I feel bad. I shouldn't have brought up the hypothetical. I don't want to lament Schwarber leaving and then talk about how much Yoshida has disappointed us. But the vibes are high. We're positive.
Well, it's interesting you brought up the whole human side with the old regime not really taking that into account, even though like Chaim Bloom would talk with Bradfo on the Bradfo show on the podcast back then about how they do take that stuff into account, how that stuff plays a role with how at the time they were talking with Xander Bogaerts. It's interesting that you bring that up when we talk about at the beginning of this episode how the vibes at the ballpark potentially contributed maybe to the offense coming out to party.
Crazy.
It could be a thing, man.
When you play well and the fans are in a good mood, you win games, and it's like it's not that complicated, and that's why it's frustrating to see the Red Sox try to be the smartest guy in the room for 3 fucking years in a row. But yeah, here we are. The vibes are high. Remember, we're fucking happy.
Vibes are high. Vibes are high in the city. The weather is beautiful. The Sox have won 2 out of 3. The Celtics are one. What?
We're getting two days of rain coming up.
Okay. Well, shit. Sorry, man. It's all right. But it's okay. The vibes are high because the Red Sox won 2 out of 3, and the Celtics are 1 win away from a championship. And related to the Celtics, I want to ask you guys a question because I saw this circulating around. I've seen it circulating around on and off since the beginning of the season. I think now is the right time to discuss it. We've kind of seen the way the Celtics have gone about this season. I mean, they lost 18 games the entire regular season. They got through the first round in 5 games. They got through the second round in 5 games. They swept the third round, and now in the finals, they're up 3-0, in position to potentially sweep that too and finish the season 80-20, which is bananas. That is wildly dominant. But we've seen it before, not with the Celtics in our lifetimes. At least me and Pat. I don't know, Sammy with the 80s teams maybe. Or maybe like
those Russell Celtics are disgusting.
Yeah, those Russell Celtics, dude. Those were
oh, dude,
really big in Sammy's day.
Even more exciting for me was Bob Cousy's rookie season. Knowing that he was local, the papers were really going crazy. The Wizard of Worcester, as we called him, and boy, he could dribble with both hands, which was just unbelievable. And the way he would lay the ball in was, I'd never seen anything like it. I still can't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just so jealous that you got to experience that era. I like to think that I'm experiencing a little bit of it myself today, but this is just the beginning. I don't know if we're going to have a run like your Celtics of old had, Sammy. But I want to ask you guys a question because the 2018 Red Sox had the best record in their franchise's history that year and beat the Yankees. It was a best-of-5 series. They beat them 3-1. Then they go and they beat the Astros 4-1. And then they go and they beat the Dodgers 4-1. I got to ask, if the Celtics are able to close out the NBA Finals in either a sweep or in 5 games, whose run was more dominant? The current Celtics team or the 2018 Red Sox? Sammy?
I think you got to go Red Sox. 2 reasons. One, because we've seen this before in the NBA. I don't remember which Warriors team it was, the one that won like 73 games and then just smoked everybody in the playoffs. Like they did it like 4 times too. There've been a lot of Warriors teams that have kind of just like run through everybody. Then there was also the Jordan Bulls who just ran through everybody, and they literally, these teams like wire to wire just didn't lose the entire season. Like if you include regular season and playoffs, like 20 losses in total. We've seen that before. Not to take away from the Celtics, but the Red Sox, that 2018 team, that was insane. Like they got swept 1 time all season. I think they only had one, that was their only 3-game losing streak, pretty sure. And then they go 11-3 in the playoffs. I just think it's a lot harder to do that in baseball. Second reason, and I hate to bring this up, but the Red Sox had to go through like murderer's row in the playoffs. That was like your biggest rival, the Yankees, the Astros amidst the cheating, and then the fucking Dodgers. So like, I don't like the narrative like the Celtics haven't played anybody. Like I think they just kick the crap out of everyone because they're better. But the Red Sox played killers on their way to winning the World Series, and you don't see that in baseball. I'm trying to think like Has there been a team like that? Like I'm probably forgetting an obvious answer, but like I can't recall a team dominating the entire regular season. It's probably like the early 2000s Yankees, and that's when they were the only team that could buy players.
Yeah.
So
Or the 17 Astros.
17, yeah, but that
That's a maybe. Like that's a maybe.
That's a
But they
big
were,
time.
and they were cheating.
Yeah, that's that one I have to like. I think anyone who's being honest about that team, like you got to put an asterisk. Like we haven't seen cheating in baseball like that in quite some time. That was pretty significant what they did. So, no, I'm going to go with the Red Sox comfortably here. And that's not to say what the Celtics are doing isn't impressive. It's just like it's basketball. This happens in basketball more so than baseball.
Man, I'm gonna let Pat give his take before I go. But I will say that you pointing out the difference in their road to their championship in terms of the Red Sox having to face the Yankees, who I got to pull up their record for that season. They were 162,
162,
and that was their first round matchup as the number 1 overall seed.
162, and you remember after game 2, Red Sox win game 1, Yankees win game 2. Everybody thought the Red Sox were going to blow that series. I remember that so well. Everyone's like, "Here it comes."
Hold on, Sammy. Now you're countering yourself.
What? No, I'm saying like everyone was all negative all of a sudden. It was like, oh, here they go. They're up against. They lost one game, and everyone was like, oh, they're screwed, and they smoked them. This is just like we couldn't fathom that a team could dominate like this, and they did. It's not contradicting. Nice try.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm gonna let Pat give his take. I want Pat to give his take, but I'll circle back to this. Pat, Celtics this year, Sox in 18. Who's more dominant?
So I am also going to go Sox in 18 just because even if they fell down 3-0, which they obviously didn't, I would have felt so confident they still would have won that series. The C's right now, if they lost a game or went down a game, whether it be 1-0, 2-1, 3-1, whatever it may be, I would have. And a lot of this does have to come from like revisionist history, knowing the past 5, 6, 7 years. The 2018 Sox could have been down 3-0 in every single series, and I would have felt really good about them coming back. The current day C's, I love every single guy on the team. They're gonna win the finals. That being said, if they fell down a game or two, totally gone, completely diminished, no faith.
I don't know, Pat. I feel like you're taking past Celtics teams into account and making that point, because this year's Celtics team, anytime the game's been like closer in the balance, they've stepped up. They've been okay in those pressure situations. I'll give you guys my take here. Sammy, you had me on the fence when you pointed out that, because you're right, the Red Sox could not in 2018 have gone through a harder road to get their championship. Going through the Yankees, the Astros, and the Dodgers, that you're right, it was murderous row. But that being said, the Red Sox that year, they won in the regular season 67% of their games. The Celtics this year won 78% of their games. Understandably, basketball and baseball are different. Basketball, the better team wins far more often than occurs in baseball, whether it be because of
much less parity in basketball.
Yeah, just a lot less parity. It's a good way to put it. But that said, the Red Sox in 2018 didn't sweep any series. The Celtics, I mean, I wish I could know the outcome of the finals. I wish I could know if they take it home in 4, because honestly, that if they took it home in 6, I think it really is that close to me. If they took it home in 6, I think I would sway back to the 18 Sox. But it's just that to go back to your point earlier, Sammy, about when the Red Sox lost game 2 against the Yankees, it was like, oh shit, like this could go south real fast. This team could go down in the first round. And then in the ALCS, they lost game 1 to the Astros, and it was like, oh shit, like we had a good run, but like here we are against the team with all the experience. Like, what are we gonna do now? With the Celtics this year, there has never been a sliver of doubt. There's never been a sliver of, are they about to go home? Are they on the verge of being about to go home? The worst they ever were was tied 1-1 in a series. And granted, I understand a lot of that is because of who they're playing.
But Gordo, when you felt that way about the Red Sox after game 2 of the Yankees series in 2018 and after game 1 of the Astros series, to me, we were feeling that way because we have never seen a baseball team dominate in the way the Red Sox did. So when they do lose a game, you just harken back to like, oh no, we've seen this happen. Like a team has an amazing season. Like granted, this Red Sox season was a little bit more amazing than usual, but now it's the playoffs and it's all out the window. And the Red Sox are like, no, sorry. That was just one game. We're going to win the next 4. Don't worry about it. And they did. That's what they did with the Astros. It's like our brain couldn't conceptualize a baseball team dominating like this. But with basketball, like I just said, we've seen it before. We've seen teams be dominant like this. And by the way, the Red Sox, I know they lost 3 games in the playoffs, 11-3. The last one they lost took 18 innings for the Dodgers to beat them. This is their opponent in the World Series. The only way they beat the Red Sox is going until friggin' 3 a.m. playing this game and then eking out a win against Nate Eovaldi. Just anyway, you get the point. I think that the baseball one, I have to go Red Sox just because that does not happen in baseball. This happens sometimes in basketball.
It really is it's two separate schools of thought, because in terms of my emotion and how I'm feeling, and to get back to your point about the Red Sox potentially being in the balance there, it also has to do similarly to how Pat said if the Celtics got down in the series, he couldn't trust the Celtics to bring it back. It also had a lot to do, I think, with the Red Sox losing in the ALDS pretty handily back-to-back years, winning only 1 game. But it's two separate schools of thought here. It's how were you feeling the whole time? Was there doubt? And what is less precedented? Because I definitely have had a lot less doubt during the Celtics run than I did in 2018 during the Red Sox run. I had doubt when it was 1-1 in the Yankees series. I had doubt when they were down 0-1 to the Astros. Hell, I had doubt when they were up 2-1 against the Dodgers, and then Yasiel Puig hit that big home run and put the Dodgers ahead. So there, even though it was dominant, there were occurrences of doubt. But that said, it's just so unprecedented to have a run like that in baseball where none of the series go deep. There was no even sniffing elimination.
What do you think matters more, though, Gordo? What matters more? How you feel in the moment? Because, it's hard to think straight in the moment, or how you look back on it. Because I would say how you look back on it. Because in the moment, this is going to sound insane. I never once felt like the Red Sox in 2018 were just going to run through everybody. I was just like, wow, they're really good. They're really good. Hopefully they go deep into the playoffs. They just massacred everybody, start to finish. Looking back on it now, I'm like, how did I ever think this team would lose a game? I feel like I was crazy for even considering that there was a chance they would lose a game. With the Celtics, it's like, I don't feel like I'm going to think that differently of them. Regardless, what do you think matters more? How you feel in the present or how you look back on them?
When you phrase it like that, I would say how you look back on it.
Right. So that's why when you say like in the moment, I felt a little nervous. It's like, yeah, you're in the moment, of course. But when you reflect on it, you realize, holy shit, how dominant was this team? It's like, yeah,
but
man, this is why
in theory that their dominance is only like you're only as dominant as how certain you are you're going to win.
I don't know if I'd subscribe to that. Yeah.
I really do wish, because I feel like we're going to have to like wait a while to get a real answer from people on this, because people are going to have such love goggles for the Celtics for however many days, weeks, months after they win this championship. And I feel like people will just answer the Celtics as the answer, even though 2 of the 3 of us on this podcast said Red Sox. I just feel like people will say Celtics. I want to know what people think of that one. I feel like it's a genuinely hard question to answer just because the sports are so different. Like you can compare
Boston
the Celtics.
Fans always pick the older team. They always pick the team from like longer ago. They're like, you can't, like, it's not like sacred cow kind of thing. Like if you compare 2 teams, I feel like most Boston fans, at least in our age group, like 20 and older, will always be like, nah, man, that one from when I was a kid was much better, dude. It's always like that.
So like my whole thing is like back in 18, let's say the Dodgers tied it up 1-1. Back then, and even now, I would have thought, okay, this is now a series. if the Celtics went down 1-1 or even out 1-1, I would be okay. I'm kind of nervous.
See, I'm the
That never
opposite.
crossed my
I'm
mind.
the
Pat,
opposite.
the same
Never
same
once.
question, Pat. Same question I just asked Gordo. What matters more? How you feel in the moment, or when it's all over? When you look back on it and you reflect, which is a more accurate, trustworthy description of the team that you're making in your own head? Which one do you trust more? Which thought process that you've created is more trustworthy to you?
I mean, in the moment is by far the most accurate, I guess. But at the same time, I know how I felt in 18. In
We
18,
can't get a straight consensus here. We're
can't.
all over the place on every question.
I know how I feel right now. If the Mavs went 1-1, 2-2, whatever it may be, I'm worried. The Sox in 18, if it was 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, if they went into a game 7, I knew the Sox were World Series champions.
Okay,
Wow,
wait.
it's ballsy.
Here's another school of thought before we move on. It's kind of like true results versus expected stats. It's like if you hit the ball on the screws 10 times, but only 5 of them drop for hits, what would you rather have, that or hitting 10 bloops, but 6 of them dropped? It's like
It needs a lot of nuance. That question needs a ton of nuance, though, because it's like,
Yeah,
what's
it
the
does.
scenario?
It
Am
does.
I
right?
And
But,
Gordo, if we're talking in the moment, didn't you say pre-show that you were nervous when Kyrie Irving put that shot up when they were down 4?
Nervous in the sense that holy shit, they might lose this game. But even had they lost, the Celtics lost and only been up 2-1, I still would have felt incredibly confident in the series.
What about the feelings in those actual games when it was close versus when a series would be tied 1-1 or if they lost the game? What about look at those specific games?
I mean, how many of the games the Celtics have played have been genuinely, I am fearful that they are going to lose this game? I think back to that game 3 with the Pacers, and
last night? When the Mavs were going on that 21 to whatever run,
yeah,
21
that
to 2
game
or whatever, I was like, we're absolutely cooked. They're at home there. By the way, please allow me to answer my own question. I think that the way you reflect on a team is a lot more, I guess, trustworthy to go off of than in the moment, because you have the full picture. In the moment, your mind is racing and you're going through all these different hypotheticals of what could happen. And depending on what your personality is like, you're either going to go to the extreme positive, the extreme negative, maybe somewhere in between. But when you reflect, you can calmly look back and go, oh my God, this team is friggin' incredible. With the Patriots in 2007, probably we all would have been like, this team is unstoppable. Nobody can beat them. Now we look back, we're like, yeah, they were amazing. But there were issues I guess we didn't notice, and that lost them the Super Bowl because of it. All
right, I've got a question.
Go ahead.
I've got a question for you. And I'm in my head, I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this, and it might come out completely terribly, but bear with me and try to figure out what I'm saying here. So in a playoff run, we'll use basketball. You need 16 wins. What is more dominant? If you go 16-3 in that playoff run, but all of those 16 wins were 20-point victories, were never in the balance, and the 3 games they just lost 3 games, it was what it was. Or are you more dominant if you go 16-0, but all 16 of those wins were fairly tight? Because I feel like the Red Sox in this case,
That's easy.
Red Sox are the 16-0 team where all of the games are tight, and the Celtics in this case are the 16-3 team, but they're blowing them out in all the 16 wins. What's more dominant?
Yeah, I think that's a super, super easy answer. It would obviously be the one where you're blowing everybody out. However, that needs a ton of context. That needs a lot of context. What sport are we talking about? Who is the opponent? What is the platform? And I think all those things that I just mentioned kind of makes me want to throw that question out the window and be like, it doesn't matter. There's too much nuance to it. This is a really good, people are going to have bigly opinions on this because it's an impossible question to answer. And by the way, let's knock on wood. Celtics have not.
I was about to say, if the Celtics lose this series, I officially blame Play Tessie. If the Celtics suffer the first 0-3 or 3-0 blown series of any kind in NBA history, you can blame Play Tessie. But Before we get to the series preview, because we are hiking up this time right now, we do need to pick a series MVP here. The Red Sox did beat the Phillies in this series. The 2024 Red Sox won the series. So, Sammy, series MVP, who are you going with?
There weren't a ton of like super consistent performers throughout all three games. Like a lot of people had a good game here and there, and then like it's always hard for me to pick a pitcher also to be the MVP. So I'm going to go with Duran. I thought Jarren Duran was the most consistent this series. Kind of a little bit of everything. I don't even think that's a difficult pick. So yeah, pretty comfortably picking Duran here. And this is like the third time we've picked him, by the way. Like I'm going to go out on a limb. He's good.
He might be good.
What?
Yeah, baseball. I mean, we're good at baseball. Basketball, I don't know, but baseball, dominant.
Pat, who are you going with?
I'm with Sammy. I think if you look at all three games, Duran's pretty obvious. There's a couple of guys you could look at. I mean, Houck had quality start in the rubber match. Valdez had a decent series, but I'm going Jarren Duran. I think Duran by far is the MVP of the series.
Hey, you know what, Pat? My friend texted me like right after Houck came out of the game. He's like, not a great game for Houck. And I'm like, you're honestly right. Like by his standards this year, that was like not a good game for him. And he was still nasty.
I think it might have been like his second. Was it his second worst start of the year? Was it his second time allowing 3
He had the
runs
stinker
going up to
against
7?
Cleveland. The bad one was Cleveland. That was when he's actually like had a legitimately bad start.
No,
The
Cleveland was the great one. The bad one was the Angels.
Angels.
Yes.
You're right. You're right.
Yep.
You're right. It was the Angels one. And then there was another one where he was kind of so mixed in with all these like 7-inning, 1-run shutout, whatever. Kind of sometimes he even allows 2.
Tanner today, 6 innings, 8 hits, 3 earned, no walks, 5 Ks. And that is a bad start.
That's
for
crazy.
That's how good he is. And it is, dude. Like, do we all agree? Like, not Houck's best start of the year. He didn't look his best. He's still nasty. That's how good this guy's become.
Yeah. His
bad
is league average.
Facing the Phillies, too. So,
Sammy goes with Duran. Pat goes with Duran. I want to give a couple of shout outs, just not even just for the series, but just in terms of like recent production, like David Hamilton. I love what he's been doing. His last 30 games, he's hitting .326 with an 889 OPS. He's up to 292 with an 805 OPS for the season. This is David Hamilton. And he had a really good series, had a big home run in game 2. The dude he fouled one off his foot in the third game, so I hope he's feeling all right. But he has been awesome. And as Pat said, Emmanuel Valdez continues to just hit since his call up. Since the call up, he is 10 for 31 with 3 home runs. So an extra base hits galore. He got thrown out at third a couple times in the series, but like he got big hit after big hit. But I'm joining you guys. I'm going with Jarren Duran. He was 5 for 9 in those final 2 games and the 2 victories. Dude is just, he's all that. He's all that in all phases of the ball.
I don't even think about his
he hits triples.
Oh,
he plays
sorry. Yeah.
Amazing defense, great base running. Like what more do you want from him?
I was just about to say, I don't even think about his defense anymore. Every time I would speak about Jarren Duran the past 2 seasons, I would say, yeah, but the defense is really bad and he plays an important position. Now I'm like, I don't even notice him out there. If I do notice him, it's normally a positive thing. OPS check for Jarren Duran. He's out. What is this? He's in the 800s, folks.
Oh, he's back up.
Am I reading this correctly? Yeah. 816. Not bad.
816. My God. I mean, that's the thing is like if you get a guy hitting around an 800 OPS playing elite defense and unreal base running, that's why he's in the top 10 in WAR.
I was going to say, I'm not a huge fan of WAR, but Jarren Duran before tonight, because friggin' Baseball Reference takes 9 years to update, 3.4 WAR, which means that if you replace him with an average player, he gets you 3.4 more wins, of course. So that's great and exciting. I would like if he were a little more aggressive with the base running. I feel like he was on fire to start, and then he got thrown out one time and has like tapered off a bit. And
it's like you're just saying in terms of stolen bases, though, right? Like because he goes for the triples.
Oh yeah, no, steals.
But,
that's what I mean. Sorry, yeah, stolen bases. And I thought that he stopped doing that because it's like, all right, Rafael Devers is behind you. Like, how much does stealing second base make sense when you have your best bat behind you and not many other guys in the lineup are healthy, blah, blah, blah. But now Devers is fourth. There's 2 guys between Duran and him. So, like, fucking go, dude. Go. Hit a single, steal. I don't care. I trust him. And if he gets thrown out, he gets thrown out. That's a worthwhile risk in my book.
I agree with you. And it's, I mean, he had that play where he like tried to score on that ground ball from second, like
that was fine. They were in the lead.
I mean, there's no risk.
Yeah.
There's no risk that Duran could take. Like, it's different if Duran takes some crazy risk and gets thrown out versus if, like, I don't know, Dom Smith gets thrown out.
Like Connor Wong, a guy who's like, yeah, he's got decent speed, but I don't want him to be like doing crazy shit. Like if Duran does something crazy, like didn't he try to take 2 bases on a ground ball game 2? Yeah. That's fine with me. It didn't work. They had a lead, but yeah, man, I'm all for Duran pushing the envelope with the speed.
Yep. And so shout out Jarren Duran. He is the Play Tessie Series MVP for the Phillies series here in June, and he should be headed to the All-Star game coming up in July. Let's preview this series, man. We've got another tough one. You got through the Phillies series, so now you got the Yankees series. The Yankees are in first place. They are 49-22. They are the best team in the American League, and they are coming off winning 3 out of 4 against a good Kansas City Royals team. They did drop the final one, so they are coming off a loss here. This is the 3rd straight series at Fenway Park in which a player will be returning. You had Chris Sale, you had Kyle Schwarber, and now you'll have Alex Verdugo. So I guess before we preview the series, Sammy and Pat, if you were at Fenway Park for Friday and Alex Verdugo stepped up to the plate, I'll ask Pat first. What would your reaction to Alex Verdugo be when he stepped up?
I think I would boo.
Ooh.
I do. He was perfectly average when he was here. Beyond that, he was nothing great. I mean, the real thing is, if you take it abstractly, Connor Wong is the best player in that Mookie deal.
Aside from Mookie.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Sammy. I appreciate the cover
just
up.
some clarification, just in case.
Clarify.
Yeah.
Aside from Mookie,
He does not suck.
Yeah. Aside from Mookie, but like Doogie was supposed to be the centerpiece of that deal. Like he complete letdown, was maybe average across the board his entire time here. Left. I know we traded him to the Yankees, but it wasn't on. We didn't sell high on Verdugo. It wasn't like he was some great player we sent to the Yankees for a giant package back. Like it was a real letdown. I think I would boo Alex Verdugo.
Sammy, what would you do?
no. Who gives a shit about Alex Verdugo? I'm not going to boo him. He's hitting 263, so wasting my time and energy
Are you
booing
going
him.
to cheer him?
No, nothing. Just don't care. Don't care. He was the most like, I don't know. I really wanted to like him the whole time. I like the chains, the flair. He looked like Emma Stone with a beard, in my opinion. Cool guy, but just whatever, man. Kind of like I don't even like thinking of Alex Verdugo. He's just like you know what he is? He's like kind of cringe to me now. Like now he's on the Yankees. It's like, okay, dude, you're doing the same shit. You're putting up the same numbers. You're slapping the ball around the field. You're at average. He's saying 263, by the way. I'm going to repeat that. Everyone's acting like he's amazing player. He's hitting fucking 263. He's like Connor Wong's hitting better than him, like Pat just alluded to. So, no, don't care. No selling Verdugo. No boos, no cheers, nothing. You're just another guy.
You know, Sammy, that's exactly my take, actually. I would stand up and look around and see what people are doing, but I wouldn't cheer. I wouldn't boo. Like, he didn't have a good enough Red Sox career for me to cheer now that he's on the Yankees. I know he didn't choose to go to the Yankees, but he seems pretty happy there. And I'm certainly not going to cheer him after the stuff he said, backhand slapping Cora. But I'm not going to boo him.
No. He's definitely going to get booed at Fenway. They're going to boo the shit out of him.
I think he's going to get booed too. I don't know if it's but there's gonna be
no, he's not actually. It's gonna be all Yankees fans anyway.
A lot of Yankee fans. So we'll see. I wouldn't cheer. I wouldn't boo. But we'll see what happens. I'll be curious. I wonder if they put together any sort of video and if it's any good. We'll
Oh
see.
God, no. God,
no.
what the fuck would they do? Here's a walk off he hit in June in a game when the Red Sox were 3 games under 500 and 20 games out.
We'll see. I mean, they're gonna welcome him back, right? They're gonna put him on the board.
No.
I would no.
No,
I mean, they gave Javier Lopez from the Giants 10
Javier
years
Lopez
later.
was a World Series champion and a loogie.
That's true.
How do you not think Alex
would
Verdugo
be
looks like? Do you not think he looks like Emma Stone a little bit? I
Dude,
can't
that's the
get that
dumbest
out
shit
of my
I've heard in my life.
No.
That is ridiculous
No.
take.
He looks like Emma Stone.
That's ridiculous.
I'm sad
All
he
right.
shaved the beard because I used to call him Emma Stone with a beard.
And now he's just Emma Stone.
Now he's just dude Emma Stone.
Yep. All right, so we'll see who Emma Stone will be pit. Wow, I can't put. No, I'm not even gonna try. Here's the pitchers.
You're in.
I can't do it. All right, pitching matchups. Game 1, Luis Gil, Gil. It's pronounced Heel, against Brian Bayo, who for some reason jumped Cooper Criswell. Cooper Criswell was going ahead of Bayo, but now
He jumped him. Jesus.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know why
Fucked up.
they're giving Criswell an extra day, I guess, unless I'm mistaken, but I'm pretty sure I'm right there. But Luis Gil, rookie of the year favorite as of now. He's got a 2.04 ERA coming off 5 2/3, 3 runs and 5 Ks versus the Dodgers. He's only allowed 3 or more earned runs in 3 of his 13 starts. So that was one of his worst starts of the year. So hopefully the Sox can keep that going. But obviously was the Dodgers. He's going against Brian Bayo, has a 4.78 ERA, also coming off probably his most disappointing outing of the year, 4 2/3 with 5 earned runs and 2 strikeouts against the White Sox. Second game, Carlos Rodon enjoying somewhat of a bounce-back season. Not somewhat. Yeah, it is a bounce-back season. He's got a 2.93 coming off 7 innings of 1-run ball with 3 Ks against the Royals. He's going up against Cooper Criswell, who's got a 4.13. He's coming off 4 1/3 innings of 3-run ball with 2 strikeouts against the White Sox. Game 3, Marcus Stroman and a 2.82 ERA coming off 5 2/3 scoreless innings with just 1 strikeout against the Royals. He's going up against Cutter Crawford, who has a 3.47, and he's coming off 6 innings of 4-run ball. Only 2 of those runs were earned and 8 strikeouts against the Phillies. Hitters to watch here. It's a 2-man show. It's Judge and Soto. Judge has got 25 home runs and an 11.18 OPS. That is freaking ridiculous, especially considering he was hitting in the 100s after like a month. Soto had a brief injury scare. He's back. He's healthy. He's got 17 home runs and a 10.25 OPS. He is an absolute magician with the bat. He is, in my opinion, the best pure hitter in baseball. I still think he's better than Judge. They've also got Anthony Volpe enjoying somewhat of a breakout season, but the OPS is still just around 748. Great all-around player, though. And, of course, the Alex Verdugo update, he is at 732 for his OPS. More recently, Judge and Soto both super hot. Judge, oh my God. In his last 13 games, he's got a 1538 OPS and 8 home runs. That's in 13 games. He has 8 home runs. Juan Soto has got a 1241 OPS in his last 11 games. So those are the 2 guys. Might as well just walk those guys back to back, put 2 guys on base every time and just take your best chance than everyone else. Like,
not impressive. Those are some paltry B League numbers. Bums.
I agree. That's why the Red Sox will be able to sign Juan Soto for a minuscule 3 years, $39 million contract. That is what they are comfortable with. So I'm very excited about that.
Fun fact, if you like Yoshida hitting gentle ground balls to second base, last year the only guy who did that more was Juan Soto. However, Juan Soto also had like a 900 OPS, so it's fine when he does it, Yoshida. He might need to rest his legs again.
So I want to get to the predictions for this series. I'm going to bring in Joe for a quick standings update here. Joe, what do we got going on? I know no one got a point, right? Because
you are exactly right. Everyone thought they would lose the series. Pat, Sammy, and myself thought that they would get swept. Gordo, you were the most optimistic out of all of us, but still, you said that they would lose 2 out of 3. So no standings changes. Sammy still leads it with 8. Pat and Gordo each with 4, and then me with that singular point.
So I have been going last in a lot of these, and it's allowed me to kind of like dick around and pick what you guys aren't picking to try to catch up. And I kind of feel like that's bullshit. So I'm going to go first this time. So I can't do that. I'm going to predict the Sox take 1 out of 3 here. Classic Red Sox ending in the series are at 500. It's what they're going to do. I like them in the third game. I like them on primetime Sunday Night Baseball. I like them hitting Marcus Stroman. There's just no way that they're going to get pieced up by Marcus Stroman. There's no way that Marcus Stroman is going to have a 2.82 ERA and that ERA is going to go down. So I think they're going to get carved up by Luis Gil a little bit. Game 2, don't feel great about it either just because Cooper Criswell has not looked as good lately. But the third game, count me in for that. 1 out of 3. I'll let Pat, I'll let you go next. Let's see what Pat's got.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think they win 1 out of 3, but different sequence. I think they kind of batter up Luis Gil. They do pretty well against rookie pitchers, no matter who it is. I think they win game 1. I think they lose game 2 against Rodon. And I think they, as much as I want them to win, I think they lose game 3 against Drummond.
1 out of 3. 1 out of 3. Sammy?
I think the Red Sox take 2 out of 3. I think they win the first game. They beat Gil's ass. Dude's got a 7-letter name. 7
It is
letter.
hard.
That's not enough. That's not enough letters to play at Fenway. They're going to lose game 2 because they can't hit lefties. Rodon had that kind of cool, kind of cringe clip where he threw a pitch against the Royals and the camera cut to him and you could see him go, that was nasty, or like that was gross or something. The way he does it, he looks like he's like making fun of a guy being a Chad, but that's like actually how he, I guess, presents. So they'll lose that game. And then they will win game 3. They're going to kick Marcus Stroman's ass. Marcus Stroman, one of the biggest bums in Major League Baseball. He absolutely sucks. Nobody likes him. Total loser. Red Sox will kick his ass game 3. That'll be great. Hopefully he cries coming off the field. That would be funny. And yeah, Red Sox win 2 out of 3. Let's do it.
All right. I like the optimism, Sammy. If the Sox take 2 out of 3 back-to-back from the Phillies and the Yankees, that would be uplifting, I will say.
You know what? We should interview Stroman. That's a guy I want to interview because I'm taller than him. So I finally won't look short standing next to like 6'4" Cooper Criswell or Houck, who's 6'5", or Casas, who's probably like 19 feet tall. I don't know. I'd love to interview Stroman. I don't even know about what, but just so I could stand next to someone that I'm actually, for once, taller than on the field at Fenway.
Before we get to Crystal Bomb here, I do have a quick Carlos Rodon tidbit. Back when he was with the White Sox, it was like it was in his breakout season in 21. We exchanged. I sent him a bobblehead and he sent me a signed baseball in exchange for the bobblehead.
Oh shit. Now I have to like him. That's cool of him. Fuck.
Yeah, he was just like, I like happened to see one of his Instagram stories. He's like, who want like bobblehead, whatever. He wanted to see people's bobbleheads or something, like, so he could, I don't know. I think he wanted to buy people's bobbleheads or something. I don't know. So I sent him I have a huge bobblehead collection. I sent him a whole picture of my giant, like 3-shelf thing of bobbleheads. And he was interested in 2. I have the Dwight Schrute bobblehead, like from The Office, that he has on his desk. I have that. I wasn't going to give that to him. And I had a Dustin Pedroia one of Pedroia diving. And so that's the one I sent him. Carlos Rodon
I have that
has
one.
my Dustin Pedroia diving bobblehead somewhere in his house.
Is that the one where it doesn't, like, he looks like insane, Pedroia, in that? He's like,
he's like horizontal and he's held up by like a small metal pole.
Fenway giveaway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to have that one. I know it's so weird.
Yeah.
Neither of us have lives. It's great.
So just so you guys know, when Carlos Rodon gets pieced up, it's the Gordo bobblehead curse.
Did you put a pizza underneath it?
I didn't. I was not yet back into my pizza era at that point. I ate it as a kid and then I took years off. But then maybe it's back. It's been back for about 2+ years now, maybe more. Time flies. But you know what else flies is bombs. Oh, that's the bobblehead.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yep, that's the one. That's in Carlos Rodon's house somewhere, and it was mine. So it's gonna curse him at Fenway Park. He, I believe, gave up Cedon Rafaela's first career home run because I was in attendance for that, and then he proceeded to carve the Red Sox up the rest of the game. This was last season, so hopefully we get a little bit more of that. Maybe Cedon Rafaela could be a good Crystal Bomb pick. Because Pat, what's it time for?
It is time for drumroll, please. Crystal bomb.
Bomb it.
Bomb it. Joe, can we get a score update?
You absolutely can, and it's not much of an update because no one got a point. Let's see, who did everyone pick? Pat, you went with Rafi Devers. That's a big no. Sammy, you went with Sedan Rafaela. Wrong. Gordo went with Rob Refsnyder. I think he only got one game in there. And then I went with Connor Wong. Same details. So standings stay the same. Gordo in the lead with 10. Sammy in second with 7. Pat is in third with 3. And I am in the bottom with 1.
Actually, Joe, you go
Yes,
first.
sir. Oh my gosh, you guys are so nice. There's a strategy that Gordo wants to use.
Damn it.
So I could, but you know what? I'm going to be nice. I'm going to be nice and not going to do that.
Joe, you can pick him. I'm picking him no matter what. I'll double up. I don't care. He's going deep.
You'll double?
I'll double up. He's going deep.
You know what? I'm gonna stick on my path. I'm not gonna pick Devers. I'm gonna pick someone who went deep right before the Yankees series. I think he's got his mojo. I think he's got his power back. I'm gonna pick Tyler O'Neill.
Okay. Well,
All right. Sammy.
Sorry to steal that from you, Sammy.
well, this sucks because I was like, I'm going to take Devers unless someone else takes him. And if someone does take him, I'll take O'Neill. So I'm going to go with Devers so that Gordo looks like a nerd for picking the same guy as me. So I'm going Devers. Devers eats the Yankees alive. I only wish Garrett Cole was pitching so that he could hit 2 home runs in this series. But I'll go Devers. I feel really good about that pick. My streak was snapped this series. I had, I think, 3 or 4 in a row, which was my hot streak for the year. Or maybe it was snapped before. I don't know. I was on a hot streak, I think, and now I'm not. So I need Rafael Devers to get me back on that heater, like I'm Pat Brown in the Dominican Republic.
All right, Gordo.
I don't care if you picked him. I'm picking him, man. Devers is going deep. I've never been more sure of a crystal bomb pick in my life. I've been setting up Devers to be my pick for the Yankees series for like almost a freaking month at this point. It's been so stupid. I got lucky with a Sedan pick that I should have picked Devers in that series and I didn't. But I'm going with Rafi. I think he goes deep in the first and third games of this series. So give me Rafi Devers against the Yankees. There's no way he doesn't go deep. It's happening. Sorry, Sammy. I'm doubling up. I don't care if I lose.
So my options are pretty limited here, but I feel pretty good about my pick. I'm going with David Hamilton.
I love
Wow.
I love that pick.
Yeah,
David
I'm going with
Hamilton.
David Hamilton. Been red hot the last month or so. I think Hamilton goes yard game 3.
Oh, speaking of red hot, my sunburn is getting worse and worse as the show goes. I literally took my pants off like 10 minutes ago because I'm in pain and it feels like my body's overheating. So yeah, I'm doing well. Love being white as a polar bear.
Well, you know what, Sammy, you made a good, rational guys being dudes pick despite the sunburn. I am proud of you. It's
Dude,
the first time we've ever doubled up in PT history on the guys being dudes.
No, week 2, 1 or 2, one of the first few weeks, I think we doubled up, and I remember being like, that was dumb, but it's all good. We can celebrate together, Gordo. At least I can't fall further behind you. So
that's true. Yeah, but you can't catch me though. I should just keep doubling up your picks, and then you can never catch me. But,
scared.
Yeah.
Dude,
but what's the time for, buddy?
It's time for me to put aloe all over my fucking body. It's time for everyone's favorite segment. No losers here, only winners. Guys being dudes. Got to pick a player who played for both the Red Sox and the Yankees, who have not won the World Series since Instagram was invented. And no Whitlock, no Garrett Whitlock, no Verdugo, and no.
Does that count? Would Whitlock have counted?
No.
That's so lame. Whitlock, Verdugo, and
no, I'm not even talking about for lameness because he didn't pitch. He didn't pitch.
No. True. Okay, fine. Whitlock wouldn't have counted anyway. I just think of him as a Yankees to Red Sox guy, but he technically never pitched in the majors for them. So, who would like to? Joe, are you tapping in on this? All right, Joe, you want to lead us off? You led off the last segment. I want to.
Yeah, sure. Why not? I'll give you a little curveball on this one. Someone not predominantly known for being with the Sox or the Yankees, but did spend a short amount of time in both the Bronx and in Beantown. Chris Young. Chris Young, the steady outfielder, started his career in Arizona, got himself an All-Star, was fourth in the NL Rookie of the Year voting, but it was the mid-2010s where he went with the Yankees and the Sox. I would call him a very serviceable outfielder. He was acquired by the Yankees in 14 from the Mets. He went 257 in his year and a half. And then that offseason in 15, he signs with the Sox for 2 years, batted 253. Just a nice guy to have on the bench when you had your big three that were blooming of Bradley, Benintendi, and Betts. So, yeah, Chris Young.
Shout out Chris Young. High. That is what money can buy you, is a high level bench piece that mashes lefties. That is what spending gets you. That type of depth. I like that pick.
I liked his walkout song was Moves. That song is like, I got the moves. I got the moves.
Got the moves.
Yeah, good walkout song.
A back move.
Yeah, yeah, you know the song.
I'm a
Hell
city
yeah.
move.
I didn't think you would get the reference. You like totally did. Wow.
I didn't know it was his walk-up song. I'm usually very good with walk-up songs, but for the years that I was in college, I'm less good because I wasn't at home as much for those games. But yeah, I got moves.
Holy shit, dude. Am I getting redder as the show goes on? I feel like my skin tone is just slowly turning more and more red, like a lipstick, dude.
You're gonna have to peel that skin in a couple days.
Oh, gross. Yeah, true. I'll throw it at the Yankees.
You just throw your peeled skin at Doogie.
Hey, Doogie.
It's like when they threw the money at Damon. Remember they threw the money at Damon, but you're just throwing peeled skin at Doogie.
No, it's like, you ever seen Austin Powers Gold Member?
I have, but not since I was super young, and it was like on the bus back from like a sleepaway camp. So
I recently rewatched it, but it's just disgusting. The Gold Member, the bad guy, like peels his skin off and he saves all of it.
Ew. All right, that's gross.
I am from Holland. Isn't that weird? All right, Gordo, go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna go with one that I actually don't ever remember. I remember him in video games, but I don't actually remember watching him pitch. But I'm going with my own namesake here, Tom Flash Gordon, closing pitcher. Pitched for both the Red Sox and the Yankees. He was an all-star for the Red Sox in 98. He led the league in saves that year with 46. Pretty crazy. He did pitch for the Yankees in 04, was an all-star that year as well. But yeah, Tom Flash Gordon, the father of D. Gordon and Nick Gordon. Fun fact, I was almost named Nicholas, whatever, so I could have been named twins with Nick Gordon. Didn't end up being the case, but yeah, Tom Flash Gordon, that's my pick.
Love it. Yeah, he was nasty for a while. He was good in MVP baseball 2005. I remember as well.
Go Gordons. Go Gordons. We love
Gordon. Go Gordon. Gordon Hayward, your favorite of all those guys.
Yep.
Pat, Pat, you didn't go yet, right? Pat, go ahead.
No, I'm pulling a page out of Gordo's book. I'm going with John Olerud because I vividly, as a 6-year-old boy in Fenway, remember asking my aunt and uncle, why is the man playing first base wearing a helmet?
Hey, he was ahead of his time. Wasn't it concussion stuff he was concerned about? Yeah, look at that.
I think it was concussions and epilepsy, maybe?
I thought he had something like going on in his brain.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's epilepsy, I mean, you're looking out for some similarities with the concussion,
right.
I guess. So, yeah, either way.
Yeah, it's all connected.
Yeah, good for him, man. I like that.
Yeah, no, but I remember it was 2005, so I was 6, seeing John Olerud in a flapless helmet playing first base, asking my aunt and uncle why the first base was wearing a helmet. So shout out John Olerud. We didn't win shit with him, but yes.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Oh yeah.
His picture, he even posed for his headshots, like his MVP baseball 04 headshot. He was wearing a helmet. I just thought it was so strange. I don't know. I just never asked questions as to why back then. But yeah, strange as hell. I'm surprised you can remember him, Pat, because you're a year younger than me, and he's barely on my remember radar.
Yeah, it's so distinctive though because of the helmet.
He had a
If it was
brain
anyone else in
aneurysm.
2005,
That's why.
He had a brain
Aneurysm?
aneurysm.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking right now.
Jeez.
Yo, am I crazy? Do you guys remember Adalberto Mondesi's dad, Raul Mondesi? Pretty sure he's in prison now. Didn't he wear a helmet in like right field? Or am I misremembering that?
He might have. I'm not 40.
Yeah, I was about to say I didn't watch him play.
Yeah.
I know the name.
He's, yeah. Whoops. He yeah, rough post-playing career. All right. I got one. This one you guys will love. I did not know this guy existed before today. This guy absolutely sucks, but I love him. Camp Skinner. Now, if you're wondering why you've never heard of Camp Skinner, he he's older, a little bit older. He's even before my time. He debuted in 1922.
Let's not get
for
ahead
the
of
Yankees.
ourselves here.
Yeah. He debuted in 1922 as a 25-year-old for the New York Yankees. Played 27 games, had an OPS plus of 1. He was 99% worse than the average hitter that year. Next year of his career goes to the Red Sox, the rival Red Sox, who had recently won the World Series just 5 years ago. No way that they'll be cursed for a long time. And he played a little bit better over 7 electric games, 13 plate appearances. He hit 231, bunch of singles, 2 doubles actually, and a 615 OPS. And his OPS plus went up to 60 for a career OPS plus of 17. And then he retired. So he played 2 seasons, was awful in both. Yankees, Red Sox, done. Love him.
So we got this picture of him pulled up here. He kind of looks like he looks like a mix of Joe DiMaggio and Shoeless Joe Jackson.
I
So
can see that.
There we go.
This guy was born in 1897. He's old. He's been around.
He's still going strong today.
Nope, he's been dead for like 70 years. He's not as alive as he used to be.
R.I.P. man. R.I.P.
Camp Skinner. By the way, on Baseball Reference, guess what he's listed as for his main position? You'll never guess. He's a professional pinch hitter.
Wow. Considering hitting was what he was not good at, that is surprising.
Yeah, he could also play center field. So he played a premium defensive spot when needed. When he wasn't pinch hitting, he was in center, patrolling out there with his like webless glove.
Yep. It's hard to catch the ball when it doesn't have the web. Those guys had to really focus.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And just after Camp Skinner retired, curveballs started coming into play.
Wow.
So, yeah.
You must have been on the floor when you were watching baseball and they started throwing curveballs.
I actually helped invent the curveball. So, no.
Wow.
I was in the lab. Me and old Haas Radborn.
Yeah. Nope. I remember I was a peeping Tom in the Horowitz's living room, and I saw Sammy say, "What the fuck was that?" when the first curveball was thrown.
I thought someone did a TikTok or like an Instagram reel of like what Babe Ruth would be like today if he played, and it's like up to the plate, it's Babe Ruth, and here's the pitch, and Babe Ruth just stares and he's like, "Did he throw the ball yet? What the fuck? How fast was that?" But yeah, Camp Skinner, we will probably forget, to be totally honest. We'll probably forget, but we'll try to never forget, but we probably will.
R.I.P. Big Camp. Big Skin.
Big Camp. He actually died in 1944 in Douglasville, Georgia. And he is buried in the Douglasville Cemetery in Douglasville, Georgia. So if you want to go pay your respects to old Camp, you can go leave some peaches in Georgia and some flowers. And either a Red Sox or a Yankees hat. Probably Red Sox if you're not a piece of shit.
He definitely is more remembered for his Red Sox years. I mean, his OPS plus went up, like 59 points?
It did go up 59 points, but he played 20 more games for the Yankees, which...
but he stunk. Those are bad memories. You gotta remember the good times.
True.
Gotta remember the good times for Big Camp. Shall we move into some Nuff Said here?
Yes, yes, please. I need to wrap up this show and sit in the cold shower for like an hour.
All right, yeah. Well, let's get Sammy into a cold shower. Pat, you wanna deliver enough said? Kick us off.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've lived in Massachusetts, obviously, Connecticut, and I am currently in the Dominican Republic. If you ever want to watch a Boston sports game outside of Boston, Dominican Republic, you have
way.
no idea how diehard these people are. Horford fans, Poppy fans, Ramirez fans, Pedro fans, Bayo fans, Devers fans, everything you could ever think of. Everybody here loves Boston. Went to the swim up bar yesterday. Where are you from? I say Boston. He goes, oh, Big Poppy, free round of shots for the bar.
Wow.
Everyone here loves Boston. Come to the DR. It's great. I love it. I might
Pat's
never
living
move
large.
back.
Can you speak
just gotta-
Spanish?
You just gotta perennially live.
Yeah,
with
hola,
this
señor.
bar.
¿Cómo estás?
Oh, he's fluent. There it
Fluent.
is.
Fluent.
That's dope.
I'm
Yeah,
talking
dude.
housekeeping, I'm talking to the bartenders. I'm talking to the waiters.
I really want to go to Dominican Republic. I think that'd be awesome. Just and go to like a baseball game or something. The league they have down there. My sister went to one of those games, like I mentioned earlier. She went. I haven't gone, but she went to a Toros game, and she said it was awesome. And she's not even a baseball fan, so
Yeah.
I'd be down.
It's great down here.
All right. Want me to go, Gordo?
Yeah, take it away.
All right. So last night, as we're recording, June 12th is the night I'm talking about. A pretty big night. So Red Sox beat the Phillies, of course. You know, the Phillies, very good team. Tom Brady night at Gillette Stadium. Retire Brady's number. Friggin' place is packed. Brady gives an electric speech. All the old friends are in the house. It's pretty sweet. Like, he even had some like old rivals come to show up. Like, it was a outstanding event. And then I believe it's officially Brady Day every June 12th in Massachusetts now, like something nutty. Like there's actually like a holiday that was declared, pretty huge. And then the Celtics top it off by going up 3-0. Kyrie Irving shits his pants as the game is winding down, absolutely soils himself. Mavs lose, Celtics win, 3-0 lead. My question for you guys, would you consider Wednesday like one of those historic Boston sports days? Because I would.
That's hard because we have days where like the Bruins and Celtics both win a playoff game. And
But you only get one Brady Day ever. It's Brady Day. That's huge. And it's the NBA Finals. And then also the Red Sox put the cherry on top.
I'll answer it right away. I'll say yes.
Cook.
I'll say absolutely. Because you got the Sox beating the best team in baseball. You got the greatest football player of all time getting retired and basically getting all his flowers. And you got the Celtics having a watch party that has never happened before in the city. And then the team itself going up 3-0 and just getting closer to a championship. I think, yeah, absolutely.
It felt like the web of Boston sports was huge last night. Like it was spread from like here in Boston where I'm at right now to like Dallas to Foxborough. And it was just like
Dominican
Republic, Pat, drinking friggin' Presidentes. By the way, try those if you haven't already, Pat. Those are solid.
Give me 2 seconds.
Presidente is like the Bud Light, I guess, of Dominican Republic, and it's kind of like Corona. I would comp it to a little Corona with a little bit more depth of flavor is my Presidente description, as Pat, I assume, is going to grab. There we go. He's got one. Are you going to crack it?
Ooh.
Oh,
Sammy,
yeah.
I'll change my answer. I think the answer actually is yes, because I feel like two of those things by themselves are historic.
Yeah, the Red Sox beating the Phillies.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, dude, we're never going to get another Brady retirement ceremony. So I feel like that kind of makes it like the Celtics will be back in the NBA Finals in our lifetime, probably. That would be crazy if they weren't. I mean, I've seen them in. This is my like 25th one I've seen them in because I'm 106.
Yep.
And but yeah, we're never going to get another Brady night. So I think that alone puts it up there. And then you have, big boys, big things happening. So, yeah, history. That was a fun night.
History. Great night. My enough said also has to do with that night because I was at that TD Garden watch party, and so we've got this. I have this shirt, and the shirt says "Kyrie sucks, go Boston." And
True.
my fiance, when we were watching the first 2 games at home, she wore the shirt both times. They won both games, so obviously she's gonna keep wearing the shirt. We keep wearing the same shit. Got to if you're wearing it and they win, you got to save the outfit. You got to throw it right back on for the game. So she wears the shirt. We go to the Garden. We're walking in through the metal detector things. I turn around and she's stopped by the security guy, and I see that she's got like her purse or her bag or whatever on her. I turn around. I go, oh shit! Like we forgot bags. Like, well, oh, and she's like, no, it's the shirt. They weren't letting any Kyrie slanderous shirts into the TD Garden for the watch party, which I thought was
Ooh.
completely insane. I was taught like they're like, you gotta put something on top of it, like change your shirt or whatever. Like we didn't like you didn't want to buy a $50 sweatshirt or whatever. So she literally went down to a bathroom and turned the shirt inside out, and you could still see some of the Kyrie sucks shit through the shirt, which was really funny. She walked back up. I was just like, good. And they're like, yeah, good, whatever. They didn't get a chance to look at it really much again. But I was talking to the guys when she was down there flipping the shirt, and I was like, why? They're like, they said, yeah, the entire series, even the regular season, they were turning away slanderous shirts, not just for Kyrie, but for anybody, which I found totally shocking. Like, oh my God, it's like a basketball, and it's not even a game. It's literally just a watch party. There's no one whose feelings could get hurt there. And I also thought about how Dave Portnoy was at game 2 wearing the shirt of Kyrie with the clown nose.
Right.
And then I thought to myself, well, they're not going to stop Dave, because if they do that, he's just going to go nutso and make their lives hell, whether it be to their faces or like on his social accounts. It's just, you don't want to stop Dave. That feels like a bad idea.
Yeah, that's such ass, dude. I hate that shit. We used to be a proper sports town. Now we're a bunch of fucking yuppies, bubble tea, and stupid, weird shit. Vegan.
I literally,
cheese.
I go, are you going to stop the chants too? And he goes, you can't stop the chants, but you can stop the shirts. I was like,
no, you can't.
Yeah.
No, you can't. I keep seeing them on TV. I've seen so many of them. That's insane.
I saw a bunch too. There was a bunch that got through. I was like, okay, of course ours got stopped or whatever. But yeah, great times. Any final thoughts before we wrap this baby up?
Gordo, do you know what shawarma is?
Sounds like Kyle Schwarber.
You don't know what it is?
No.
It's like a really, 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 really common like Middle Eastern food. I had it tonight, and I was like, I bet Gordo doesn't know what this is.
God, no.
It's when they have the meat. They have like chicken or beef or lamb on a spit, and they take the big knife and they like shave off pieces and put it over rice sauce.
On a spit?
A spit, like a big metal pole.
I mean, I can kind of picture what you're talking about, but no, I've never been within like a 10-foot radius of that.
Oh, dude.
Sammy, can it go on pizza?
You can. You could put shawarma on pizza. It's basically like
could,
shredded
right?
chicken or beef. Pat, you've had it, right?
Oh yeah, chicken shawarma, fire.
Yeah, it's like top 5-10 foods for me. Shawarma. You can get beef, chicken, lamb, whatever. It's always good. Spit. They put like a tomato on top, so the tomato juice like runs down as it's cooking. It's dank, dude. You would like it, Gordo. It's just
I hate tomatoes.
Protein. You don't taste the tomato at all. It's just straight up protein. They don't always have the tomato, by the way.
They better
Some
not.
places, but it's more like a, you would like shawarma. How do you not know what that is? How do you live in Boston? There's so many shawarma places. It's like 100.
I've never heard that word in my life. Never once, not one time.
You can go to Garlic and Lemon, Falafel King, Pita Kebab. I can keep going. I can just keep naming these Middle Eastern places. Chicken and Rice Guys has shawarma. Like come on. You gotta get shawarma.
So in conclusion, this was your final thought because you knew there was no chance that I'd had it.
No, I thought it was not cool enough to do enough said, and I was gonna ask you off air, but then you're like, any final thoughts? And I was like, do you know what shawarma is?
No chance.
Do you know what fatouche is?
Nope, never heard of it.
That's a hard one. That was the side salad. It's like a
Mm.
weird salad, but it's good. What about tabbouleh?
No, never.
How do you not know these fucking foods? What do you eat? Do you
Pizza,
never go out?
baby. No, okay. Tonight, what did I have tonight? I had lobster tail.
I had mac and cheese, pizza,
Chicken
chicken
nuggies.
fingers.
Hey, yeah. Chicky fingies. Oh, TD Garden Watch Party. They were selling chicken finger fries for $5. That includes the tax. It was like $4.79.
Wow.
Tax brings it up to $5. Yeah, great deals.
Wow, that's cheap. It's cheap. All right, yeah, Gordo, you should try shawarma. I've never met someone who doesn't like it after they try it. It's pretty wonderful.
Shawarma. Noted.
Shawarma.
On that note, thanks for tuning in to Play Tessie episode 81. Did we decide? Was it Kyle Hart or Randy? It was Kyle Hart. Right?
Daisuke. Remember, we flipped it.
The Daisuke Matsuzaka episode. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Before you tune out, remember, hit that subscribe button. If you're on Apple, Spotify, Odyssey app, hit the subscribe button. Rate us 5 stars. Helps us out a ton. Check us out on YouTube. We're on the WEI channel. All the Play Tessie episodes go up there on the Play Tessie playlist. Check us out on the socials at Play Tessie on both Twitter and Instagram. Appreciate you guys tuning in for this one. For Sammy and for Pat and for Joe in the back, it's been Gordo here with you guys. Go Sox. Let's get another series against the Yankees. Go Celtics. Let's close out this series and end this epic title drought in Boston. That is like 5.5 years, maybe. Go Sox. Go Celtics. Thanks for tuning in. Go Play Tessie. Thanks for tuning in. Toodaloo.